I don't know if I've ever done a more useless thing in my life than hit the send crash report to Ubisoft about that.
Hey, you guys care about this, right?
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
There is a form of multimedia entertainment beyond that which is good. These games are as vast in number as they are terrible. They dwell in the dark recesses of history, unearthed from the pits of the bargain bin. These are the games of horror. This is Garbage Game Night.
Welcome to Garbage Game Night, a podcast about video games that sometimes one person, sometimes hundreds of people they invested significant amounts of time, their hours, their days, their lives into, and we only have a finite amount of time, and they put their time into a project and they find it discarded, forgotten, or worse, being shut down, never to be enjoyed again. Well, we here at Garbage Game Night, we say, hey, A is for horses, but we're like raccoons, scavenging in the refuse, trying to squeeze a bit more enjoyment out of this rubbish, and maybe we'll say the critics got it wrong, or maybe we're just going to pile on to it. So tonight we're going to check out a game that is on its way out, and my help this evening is, let's see, Frank, how you doing tonight, Frank?
I'm doing swell.
Excellent. Fredo, welcome back, Fredo. Good to have you. How you doing?
Hey, no, I'm happy to be back. It has been a lot of months that I haven't been here, so I left to Tennessee. I quit my job. I had to go to the countryside of the U.S. just to,
To find yourself again, right?
Wait, you moved?
No, we went on vacation.
No, a little vacay.
Oh, we just had to do some soul searching
I was
after the
also
last.
there.
Yeah. Getting away from all the electronics, no phone, no computer. So I'm back, baby.
He was on a
Just
tablet the whole
off the
time.
grid.
I saw him.
I mean,
He's lying.
yeah, I was playing Fortnite.
We had actually decent Wi-Fi there. Yeah.
Shut up, Frank. You ruined it.
And he actually brought a Switch. He didn't even tell me to bring the Switch. He was just playing Switch by himself. We didn't even play it together.
Yeah, no, I was in a corner playing that thing. So yeah, but I'm glad to be back into the civilization. So
I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
And Hunter, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm a little upset that it's actually colder in Florida right now than it is in Denver. Yeah,
Wow.
it's about mid 40s right now.
I think we're in the 50s right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like 30 something.
No, that was last
We
weekend.
had like one
Last weekend
day
got
of
into the
that
30s.
in the morning. Yeah.
It's supposed to be on Wednesday. This will be the lowest temperature that I've seen so far. It's supposed to be -2.
Good grief.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And that wind force chill. Ooh, child.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is time for some trash talk. That means we're doing trash talk. It's a chance for us to talk about anything you're playing and stuff happening in the gaming world. I had some, actually, I'll say before we even get into this, I had some fun playing the game that we're doing this evening. I thought about firing up Spore a little bit more. That's the game we did last time, and then instead I just uninstalled it. Actually, to kick it off, Fredo, had you played Spore? You have memories of Spore?
I mean, I played when it came out. I play a little bit. I create my atrocity. I was feeling guilty of that thing.
Crime against nature.
Yeah. It was alive, so I felt guilty about my creation. So I remember it was a fun game, but it's still alive. They made some updates. What's going on with that game?
I mean, it hasn't been supported since 2008 or 9, really. They had one expansion come out for some more parts, and they added an expansion that would let you, in the galactic stage, which is the last stage where you're zooming around planets, it would let you do little on-the-ground missions as your character, and they were kind of community created. But there's a community still that's thriving for this game.
Oh, yeah, Pizza Guy, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Pizza God 15 maybe. Whatever it is. I met a guy while I was streaming Spore who he's there's people who just create tons of creatures in the Sporepedia. It's still operational.
There's dozens of us.
Yeah, there's literally dozens, and they get really mad when you say their game is garbage. So, but yeah, it was interesting revisiting that, and our main takeaway was give us Spore 2, more creature creators, please. And that's kind of where we concluded.
Pretty cool.
But the game was a jack of all trades, master of none, and it was lackluster, to say the least. About wow, this is a really bad civilization mode. This is a really bad RTS. But the creature creator holds up. It's fun. And anyone playing anything interesting?
Not not playing anything new lately, but really I just want to talk about how I grew up watching John Lithgow on Third Rock from the Sun. If
Right.
you remember that show, and seeing
Sure.
that very like happy-go-lucky, silly, funny kind of alien that he was playing on that. And then I just finished season 4 of Dexter,
Sure.
which is the Trinity
He's
killer
happy-go-lucky.
who's
you know.
played by John Lithgow, and he's just the
Yeah.
most terrifying person that I've ever seen.
The man's got
And-
range. Yeah.
Oh my god! And like the twist at the end of it, just oh my god! I'm terrified of the man now.
Yeah, that was a good
Gotta
arc
watch
they
Harry
had
and the
there.
Hendersons, you know. They'll get you
Yeah,
back in the
Bring
right
it
mood.
back.
And then I think so. We after we finished season 4, I went ahead and watched a recap of 5, 6, 7, and 8 because I heard that they were just hot
Wait,
garbage.
you didn't even watch them?
Oh, wow.
No, a lot of people that I trust have said, yeah, just watch
Yeah.
a recap.
And it just keeps getting like stupid. Like he drives his fucking little boat into a hurricane, and you're just like, what the fuck?
And then
Like,
just appears in like what can only be I assume that's like the Pacific Northwest or something.
yeah, or Canada, or who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, somewhere.
Well, I guess I'll
It's so
find out
fucking
soon
stupid.
once we start the new season.
Once you start.
But you know what? It's a thing. I've been listening to some, those murder podcasts. Man, they make a lot of money. Those murder podcasts. You know, Chris,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Maybe
think we should pivot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make our own murder podcast. You know.
What if
Anyway,
we just talked
but,
about bad murder podcasts on our podcast?
Ooh.
Like, we went to
Ooh,
this
a
one
podcast.
and they didn't even solve the crime.
We might have a little internet beef. You know.
Yeah.
We
should
could
start
stand some
something.
beef.
Yeah. We
Gaming
should make
Grumps
an anonymous
sucks.
sock puppet account. All right, cut this part out of the podcast so Chris doesn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Destroy the evidence. Yeah. Well, speaking of being poked in the eye, the day after we recorded our last podcast, it was announced that Microsoft was buying Activision Blizzard, which I didn't realize was a thing that you could do for $68 billion. Like, that's an amount of money,
Yeah.
$68 billion.
You sure we didn't talk about that?
No, it
You're
happened
not,
the day
you
after
know,
we recorded.
That's
And I
not
sent it to our
generally
group, but we
something
didn't talk
I feel
about.
like you're looking for, though. Like, what can I buy for $68 billion?
Right. Yeah. Like the maker of World of Warcraft and StarCraft and Diablo and Overwatch. Like that's a thing that you can just buy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Grow so
they did
big
it.
and fall so far.
Well, they had some really bad PR. They're like, well, how do we?
The PR
How do we
definitely
pivot?
dropped their purchase number, I'm betting. And as I was looking up what was that amount that they spend, that absurd number that you can't wrap your head around, then it was announced today that Sony's buying Bungie, which I
Yeah.
guess is people are saying in response to that.
But like,
I don't know
for
if
a
that's comparable.
significantly
But
less amount of money.
it's like $4 billion or
value.
something. 3.7 sounds right.
How is
What do they really
great
have?
value,
They have
Blizzard.
Destiny.
Destiny, and
That's
Yeah,
it.
not that good. I
yeah,
think.
they don't
Is
have the rights
Bungie
to
not
Halo, but they
Halo?
made Halo. They
No,
made Halo, but they don't have the rights to it.
Yeah, they 343 has it now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They did the last game they did was Halo Reach, and then Halo 4 and on has been 343.
Oh. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Destiny is
So-
just kind of eh.
You know, a lot of fans of Destiny. I never got into it, but I mean, I guess it's a big sprawling RPG,
Big sprawling
Halo world,
No,
though, right?
it's so-
repetitive shooter.
Farming.
It could
yeah.
have been great. It could have been World of Warcraft meets Borderlands, and they really missed the Borderlands loot aspect. Like, there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much just trash loot in Destiny.
Yeah.
It's got terrible drops. I mean, it's not as customizable as you'd like it to be either.
Not
You know what I
enough
mean?
classes either. And
Yeah,
I know
there's
you
only
can,
3 classes, and then they made
minimal
subclasses.
customization.
Like Destiny 2 is an improvement on Destiny 1.
But I
Yeah,
think if
not for you.
you look at it too, like World of Warcraft went that way in its later years. Like they cookie cuttered the entire talent tree, made everything
Yeah.
super easy. You were spending less than like 2 to 3 quests in any area. You could 1 to 60 in a day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's still more customization in World of Warcraft.
That's true.
And there's a lot of other they've like put a whole bunch of sides, like there's a whole Pokemon thing now in World of Warcraft. There's so many other little things you can do. In Destiny, it's just like there's only a certain amount, and then that's it. Like there's really no great end game.
Are all those little things though? Are they any good?
Well, I mean that is something you could say. You know what I mean? There is a
Like,
some
is it
people
just
who
them
are upset about that.
adding random mini games to try to stretch out what little life World of Warcraft has left in it.
You could say that, or other people really enjoy it. I don't know. It's one of those things like different WoW people have different perspectives on it.
Yeah,
but
people still enjoy Spore.
Yeah, true.
It's true.
It's just the level
True.
of diversity and planning is just so much. I mean, I get it. And also, World of Warcraft is
They have a stronger base game.
10 times older.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, for sure.
5 times. Who knows at this point?
Who can
But-
say? Who
yeah,
can
who
measure
can
how
do
old
math?
World of
On
Warcraft is?
Those,
Might be
But
18
it's
years
just-
old now.
Yeah,
it's legal.
it really could have been great. You know what I mean? And I just feel like they dropped the ball. Because also, because it was made by Bungie, they did have a multiplayer aspect of it. So, you could just do like death matches to some extent.
Mhm.
But even that isn't as fun as Halo, was.
Some people were like upset that like Blizzard was changing hands and it was going under new ownership. There's like a view that it's not good for these companies to be consolidated, I guess. But I don't know. I'm someone who I poured probably a few hundred hours into Overwatch. I played that game way too much, and I think we all at different levels played World of Warcraft too much, and for some it became almost career-like, like most
6
people.
years.
But like even though that and all of them, honestly, StarCraft and Diablo as well, those were like I've spent more time in the Blizzard universes than any other developer for sure. But I'm kind of happy that it's going to Microsoft, because I just felt like Blizzard was dead. The fact that they let Overwatch die off the way that it did, that there's been no new IPs, that just nothing that they've done has really made an impact for the last decade or so, excluding the launch of Overwatch and while Jeff Kaplan was there. So there's lots of things that need to change with Blizzard, obviously, with cultural stuff, but hopefully they can get themselves out of that. And some people are upset that like, it gives them a clean slate and there's no justice for so-and-so. But I mean, either the company was just going to die a death and the IPs were going to be sold off to someone anyway, or it was going to be acquired by someone like Microsoft who's making some moves, I guess. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
It can only go up from here, I hope.
Right?
Nah, they're gonna do the same
I
thing as
mean-
Banjo-Kazooie, okay? They're gonna do the same thing as Rare,
No, listen, okay.
They're gonna kill everything.
Rare.
Yeah.
That was a different time, all right? And Game Pass didn't exist back then, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, is WoW going to be
Game
added
Pass
to the Game
existing?
Pass?
Like,
That's
nah,
a
we gotta keep
question.
this shit going, baby.
We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
Also, fuck Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is too heated for a podcast.
Frank loves ukulele. Yeah, he loves that game. Yeah, it's
Actually,
better.
Ukulele is free on the Epic Launcher in like a couple
Yeah,
days or
don't
something. I
even
think.
claim that
Oh,
thing.
is
Oh,
it?
Don't
good.
even claim
Another
that thing.
game I won't play.
Yeah, exactly. Don't claim that thing. Not good.
All right, moving on with the rest of the news. Last episode, I mentioned Troy Baker, famous voice actor, was getting into NFTs. Again, in my reviewing the news today, he has rescinded that decision. He is not doing his NFT thing anymore. And I said I would follow up with the pandemic news, the pandemic digital board game news, and the maker Asmodee also put out a statement today saying that why they pulled it from all storefronts, it was just because the UI in the game was a decade old and they want to update it. I don't know. It seems odd, and there's a conspiracy afoot. So we're gonna follow up on this pandemic news, but we are going to get into the game this evening. Normally we do games from my list kind of as they go on sale or as I'm just working my way down of the most interesting ones that I have on my list. But tonight we're doing one that I added to the list 5 days ago, and we got to do it because this game's got an expiration date on January 27th, 2022. Was that 5 days ago? Math right? Yeah, sure. Ubisoft announced their game Hyperscape would be shutting down. So let me ask the group, who here has ever heard of Hyperscape?
I have not.
Nope. I haven't.
Nope.
Hunter? No? Okay. So I thought so. I do recall watching a couple streamers play this game in 2020, and I have had like a few fleeting memories since then, thinking like, what was that game? That universe. It seemed cool. It seemed like when I was watching it, it had like a hardcore base. I remember some neat mechanics in it. I don't recall the name of it though, and I don't follow anyone who plays it. So, but it seemed like a dedicated fan base. So whenever I think about it, I'm like, that game's probably out there doing okay. Well, it's not. It's dead. It's over. So pack it up. But we have one evening tonight before it shuts down. But one more for the road. We're gonna play some Hyperscape tonight as it's lowered into the ground though. For its goodbye, its farewell. So for context of this game, so taking a step back, Battle Royales kind of took off and started gaining steam in 2017 with PUBG and Fortnite, which Fortnite was actually launching its early access at the same time that PUBG was becoming popular. And over there, they realized that we could use this engine and kind of turn it into a BR and catch on to this new trend, because when PUBG took off, it was like 1.5 million players within the first couple of weeks of it launching. So it was doing really well. Fortnite developers within 2 months developed their Battle Royale. They had 10 million players within the first 2 weeks of their game, and yada yada yada, kids using their parents' credit cards for V-Bucks, yada yada. Epic now has enough money to, as you were saying, put Ukulele for free every other week, and you can download games for free, and they're buying their way into competition with Steam. But over the next year and a half, many games added modes with Battle Royales in them with kind of limited success because they were just add-on modes. But so February of 2019, EA's Respawn Entertainment, which was founded by Jason West and Vince Zampella of Infinity Ward, they were the guys who were responsible for Modern Warfare 2. That's Respawn Entertainment was the company they spun off and created. They tried a pretty unique marketing move, taking inspiration, they said, from Beyonce and how she released her self-titled album as like a complete surprise. They decided just to drop their game. So Respawn Entertainment dropped their game Apex Legends on February 2019 with just like a small teaser among influencers, and they just bypassed the entire 6-month marketing campaign. They just dropped the game, and they're like, it's here, it's free, download it. All your favorite streamers are already playing it, and they're streaming it right now. It was a huge success on launch. Apex has had some kind of ebbs and flows, but concurrent players it's been extremely successful. In June of 2020, again, for context, before the thing we're talking about happens, in June of 2020, Twitch records show the second most popular game was Fortnite, fourth was Warzone, fifth was Tarkov, which is not really a battle royale, but it's kind of in there, and Valorant had just launched as well, following a same kind of launch pattern of just kind of appearing. Okay, that's what you need to know to understand the context here. So after a couple like small leaks that weren't supposed to come out, at the end of June 2020, Ubisoft announced a new game was going to come out. They dropped a press package and just said the game is out, and people are playing the beta for it right now, and you can get access to it through Twitch drops. And for anyone who's not very online, a Twitch drop is an in-game item that you usually get for like watching someone on Twitch because your account's linked. And if you watch someone playing this game Hyperscape, you can get into Hyperscape as well. So it was technically in early access for a month, but the lines are really blurred, and it was free throughout, so it really doesn't matter like when its official launch was. But yeah, Ubisoft just dropped the game at the end of June 2020 without much announcement. Just all of a sudden there were like 2 million players playing this game Hyperscape that had no build up at all, and that might be why you had never heard of it. But yeah, that's the game we're playing this evening is Hyperscape. So if you guys want to fire up Hyperscape, you're installing a little update here. Okay, yeah. So
what the fuck? I just downloaded this game.
So like I said, I had forgotten this game existed multiple times. It seemed cool, but no one was really talking about it. Probably part of the problem of me not remembering it is that it's called Hyperscape. 2 words, Hyperscape. When I went to download it, I had to figure out where it was. Like Ubisoft Connect, what the hell is that? It's on Epic Launcher? Okay, well, I have Epic Launcher. Wait, I'm going to have to connect my Ubisoft account to my Epic account, and since I had to do a password reset, now it made me start the whole process all over again. And when you're in the Epic Launcher, there's no way to manually link the two. And I can't choose to connect my Ubisoft Connect with Epic for some reason. Like you can connect Twitch to your Epic account. You can connect Steam, but then you can't do the connection. And like, what kind of fresh hell is this? And so I download the 30 gigabytes of a game, which is otherwise known as half of a Warzone. We get it. We download it. And
quarter of a Warzone now, I think.
Quarter.
I looked it up. Because I put that in my notes. It's half a Warzone. It's supposed to be 57
they
gigs
made it
now.
smaller. Thank God.
It's supposed to be, yeah. So we get verified in Epic Launcher. We click launch. It goes through, I want to say, like you were saying, Frank, like 8 permission checks with Windows. And then it launches what looks like an error window to let me know that it's using BattleEye. Fine, do it. And then it launches the game finally. The intro video, which will launch up, that's like, this is hyperspace. I did it. I knew I was going to say the wrong name at least 3 times tonight. It's Hyperscape. Hyperscape. It runs that video at like 15 frames a second for some reason. And then it's logging on to the Ubisoft servers. And then it might tell you, I don't know if it's done it for you guys, failure. You have to give 2-factor authorization to log into your account. Like, you have the game installed.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had to do that, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to, but I had to. Yep.
I generated the codes.
8 gigabyte update.
Nice.
So I generate the codes for the two-factor authorization. And of course, it's two-factor authorization. So you want to get your recovery codes in case you lose access to your Ubisoft account. Print them off. Remember, put them in a safe place in case you ever lose access to that.
The fucking trash, boy.
Who the fuck are you, Ubisoft? How important do you think you are to me? Hyperscape, a game that I can't remember the name of. So yeah, what is the Ubisoft Connect? Why does it need to be running on my computer? I feel like it's got it's malware that it's so intrusive.
Yeah.
But anyway, you'll finally get on, and there's going to be a brief tutorial.
I'm in the tutorial right now.
I think I'm still updating.
Nice. Okay. So in my notes, I wrote hyperspace. Damn it. Hyperscape is primarily a first-person shooter battle royale. You drop into a map that is getting increasingly smaller, and your goal is to be the last one standing. There are some kind of unique things that make this experience unique for Hyperscape, though. So first of all, the map. I think it is kind of somewhat generic sci-fi world that fits into kind of like a Minority Report kind of feel. There's taller buildings, there's monorails, there's lots of jump pads, there are landmarks around the map that have higher value loot, similar to what you would see, in your Fortnite, Warzone, Apex kind of things. The map, as it stands today, is pretty large. If you were traveling from one edge to the other edge, I think it's smaller than most Apex maps or Warzone, but it's pretty impressive scale. The verticality in this game is pretty unique. Like I said, there's jump pads and high rises and powers, which we'll get to, that let you get higher. And there's even actually a built-in double jump that everyone will have. So this, more than I think any other battle royale besides maybe Spellbreak, it has what you would call arena movement. And what I mean by that is enemies launching in the air, teleporting around, rocket jumping would fit into this game. And you're going to be tracking enemies kind of as they arc through the sky with no fall damage, which seems like a minor thing, but the need to aim 360 degrees in a first-person shooter is pretty unique to arena fighters. Another thing that makes it unique is the ring. The shrinking map in this game they do a pretty interesting thing. When you drop in, you'll be able to see the entire world, but sections of it will be grayed out depending on your lobby size, maybe, because when I did it 60% of the world was grayed out. But maybe if it was a full server, maybe it would all be open. So you've got this randomly selected section of the world that you'll be dropping into, and as time passes, areas of the zone will start to decay, kind of in a digital way. The environment will pixelate and start to fade, and you'll have to get into a safe zone until it gets to the smallest ring, and then it will, at the very end, it will generate a crown, which you can just grab and hold on to for 45 seconds to win. It's an interesting kind of game-ending mechanic, so that doesn't always get down to 1-to-1 and with someone camping or hiding. Let's see what else. The guns in this game are fairly unique. They will feel kind of Quake-like. You got your typical, most of them are hit scan, and then you've got some arcing explosive grenades. There's 12 different guns, which isn't a ton, but there's a handful of sidearms, couple snipey guns, couple full auto guns, couple unique explosive projectile guns, and they do not go down the route of attachments for upgrades. Instead, what they do is a fuse system where, for example, if you have the D-tap pistol and you pick up another D-tap pistol, your D-tap pistol upgrades, so it'll be a level 2 pistol, and each time you do that, it'll get different things. It'll have a bigger magazine, it'll do slightly more damage, and you can upgrade all of your guns 5 times to get them to the final level. The hacks that are built into this game are abilities and powers you'll get. You pick them up in the game. They can fuse as well to upgrade them. There are 11 different ones. You got some expected things like dropping a heal zone, short-term invisibility, some armor, revealing enemies, and there's some more interesting ones like a slam, which is a doom fist kind of uppercut into the air and then pound down on the ground. You've got a wall ability that'll create a giant wall, and it really is a giant digital wall. A mine that'll put down a homing mine that'll activate when someone gets near it. Shockwave that'll be a big bounce pad wherever you put it down, pushing everyone away from it. And then a ball, which turns you into a giant bouncy ball.
Nice.
The events that happen in this game, they will affect the entire arena. There'll be things like healing rings that go down, a low gravity mode that it'll announce, everyone's revealed, infinite ammo, cooldown accelerator. Those are things that will affect the entire arena all at once.
I mean, I gotta say, it looks good. I mean, that's the thing about Ubisoft, that the presentation, I really like the presentation, but the game itself is meh. But still, it looks good. No complaints about.
It's a polished looking AAA looking game, right? Yeah, it doesn't feel like a garbage game when you're looking at it.
Oh, but now you have to do the verification, the 2 authentication bullshit.
You haven't done 2-step verification?
For
so loud.
The future of Hyperscape.
Yes, the future of Hyperscape. It may be delivering you the message about, the reason that we're all here tonight.
Future.
Connection error.
The future
Yeah,
is
yeah,
bleak.
that's it. That's the error.
That's the one. You get that two-factor,
look at
baby.
that. Contenders, we have made the difficult decision to end development of Hyperscape and shut the game down. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Not gonna get my money back.
It was free, Hunter. It was free.
3 whole seasons, and
There have been
done?
3 seasons of Hyperscape.
Wowee.
Yeah, I've never had a crash. I've done like 15, 20 games, and I've never crashed before.
It's gonna ask you for the triple authentication verification.
We've sent a letter to your mail.
That we detected suspicious activity, that there was more than 10 people playing this game at a time, so we just kicked everyone out. Hyperscape is
most players we've had in months.
It's an anagram for hyperspace. Like, don't do that. It's confusing. Hyperspace is a more common word. And hyper escape is nearby it too. None of it's good.
I'm dead.
Nice.
So if you die quick enough, you get second chance.
Oh.
Yeah, you get a second chance if you die fast enough.
The worse you are, the more chances you get. Okay.
There's a fucking battle pass system?
There's a battle pass system,
For
absolutely.
what?
Buy
For 2
it.
people?
Well, it's a free game. It has to have a battle pass system.
Fortnite already got
I
all my
wouldn't
battle pass
suggest
money.
you buy
you
it
know what I mean?
anymore, but yeah, so this game does have a couple game modes here. They've got solo Crown Rush, team Crown Rush, and a team death match.
Why don't we play team?
We'll do it. We'll give it. We'll give it a try. We can definitely join as a team and play it. I surprisingly was able to launch a team game, although there were, I think, 3 teams that started with teams of 3, and almost every single game that I started, everyone dropped out before we landed. I don't know what that is about, but there were a couple other modes that they had throughout the run of this game. There was one like a dark crown mode or something, and it had something about limited vision. I was very confused by it. And then they did have a faction war as well, which would be like 4 giant teams versus each other, all fighting for supremacy. So like I was saying, the crown rush modes are your typical battle royale, just that they spawn a crown at the end. I think there's one group of people that once they're finished with their game, the next game is likely to start. So
This is fun. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So it's all those people I was probably
I'm
playing
swinging
with.
a little bat around.
I don't know if I've ever done a more useless thing in my life than hit the send crash report to Ubisoft about that.
Hey, you guys care about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
Second chance means that you're within a window where
You have to die for it to actually activate, but so you have 2 minutes to die.
I mean, don't try and die.
I think that's the goal.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood the game. You're going to carry 2 abilities with you. One's on Q, one's on E, which is nice. Like Frank's got teleport right now, so if he does that, and he zips forward, the 12-second cooldown on that. Okay, he went to the giant jump pad, and you can see the area that's kind of decaying outside of the zone, which is cool. Like it's missing giant pixels out of it, and it's clear that I shouldn't go there. Frank's coming up on someone. Oh God, is he missing? This is embarrassing for Frank.
Oh, they
You got
killed
lucky,
me.
Frank, that I was accidentally showing a video of me playing and I got confused. We didn't see you miss that person from behind.
I got played.
So that was you playing very poorly.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
Maybe Battle Eye's
We
killing
don't
it
want
because of
anyone to watch you
OBS.
play this game.
Well, that's the funny
We don't
part
want anybody
that
to see our shame.
this game is very much integrated into streaming, which I'll talk about in a second here.
Now, Chris, this says cross-play matching. So
Yes.
you could play this on other systems?
Yes, this game came out for PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. I mean, not really, but... So it's going to die there, too.
I just need to find a health thing. Ooh,
Your health
this looks
comes
like a
back in
fun-
this game. You have an auto heal
Oh, yeah, look
after
at
a little
that.
while. You are carrying 2 guns. Good job. Yeah, the giant ball ability, you just press it and you turn into a giant Hammond ball, and you can bounce around. Each bounce, you can bounce higher. You can take damage while you're in the ball. Just it's slightly reduced, but you're a bigger target.
And I really like the thing about leveling up all the hacks and the weapons. That's
The fusing.
yeah, that's pretty
Fusing
cool.
the guns. Yeah,
It's
it
quick and
simplifies it.
easy.
Yeah.
And it upgrades the amount of weapon,
change.
like the amount of ammo you can use.
It
and the
changes
damage,
per
or-
weapon per level. So like the sniper rifle, the second level will give you more damage, and then the next one may give you a larger magazine. Usually all the fuses for abilities will just quicken the cooldown. Yeah, we'll try solo one more time, and then you guys can join up in a team since I cannot. So the world that they have this in, I like what they've created it to house this battle royale situation. Fortnite is fine, I think, in my opinion. Like, it gets a pass.
Oh my god, I got killed by Ligma.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
I can't.
It's
Can't
embarrassing.
have that.
Like in Fortnite, the wall is like it's a wall. You know, there's not much to it there. I don't. Frank? Do they have any lore explaining the wall, the zone closing in Fortnite?
They're probably the Fortnite lore is very complicated and convoluted. I'm not really.
Why everyone's in one universe?
I think it's all still a mystery, and then Jonesy's trying to solve the mystery. It's like I don't know.
Okay.
In 2 days you can be the Rock, or you can unlock the Rock. So
that's good. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, maybe he'll explain it to everybody.
In PUBG, it's just a zone. The zone is closing. That's dumb. Warzone, honestly, I think that's just unforgivable. Like, I don't appreciate the lore of that. Like, oh, it's a gas zone that's closing in. Okay. And we just do this over and over again. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why is soldiers dropping into a city who has an enclosing gas ring?
One more kill, dude. I'm killing
it's one of the 14 million ways that it could happen via Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I guess so. But the lore in the sense of this game for Hyperscape, like, you're an avatar dropping into a virtual battle royale, and like the effects of like the zones degrading around you, and this huge map that you have to be in a relatively small section of. Like, it's a meta kind of thing. It's like a game within a game, and I don't know, it works for me. I wish the avatars were more personalized at the beginning, but it's not terrible. Like, they've said that they were trying to go after kind of a Ready Player One kind of environment to do a battle royale in, and I think something about it feels right. I like it, but the characters need more personality, because even if you guys have ever played or ever seen Super People, like, even at the beginning of that, you can do a very in-depth character creator up front, and that definitely seems like it's missing from this. So while they're building this game, they wanted to create a game as a spectacle. So a feature of this game is actually Twitch interactions. I'm loading. We'll see if this works. If not, I'm just going to go back to spectating Frank.
Come on, Chris, you can do this. I believe in you.
Nope, crash. Wow. Yes, having OBS open and this game will crash the game. So funny that should be the case, because okay, so there's Frank standing in the lobby with 10 people. They got to 10 people, so the match is starting. What they wanted to do was to create, what they found was that the developers were spending so much time watching people play games that they realized that's where games are going, that people are watching streamers play, and they want a way for the viewers to be engaged. Keeping in the lore of this being like a Ready Player One style world where the players are virtually competing in arena, I think it definitely makes sense that an audience can vote on things to change the environment. So with this game integrated into Twitch, you can have a setting that marks you as a streamer, and people in the match with you will be able to see that you're a streamer. You have the plugin set up and stuff while you're streaming this game. Your viewers can vote on environmental changes in the game, so people can vote on whether low gravity mode goes in, whether healing zones pop up, whether increased melee damage is done, infinite ammo, all these different modifiers that will change the game that they're watching. The irony being that while I have OBS open, I'm unable to play the game.
That's sad.
Yeah, so and it's also funny that were you to play it today, obviously, without Twitch interactions, because there's no one playing this game, but it's not like there's a glaring hole in the gameplay. It's not like, this game's unplayable because
Hunter, kill me.
Hunter got you.
Somebody else weakened you though, so I won't even take that.
That was me, bitch.
Frank was sniping you guys from behind. Oh, got. Wait, did he get him?
Frank just avenged me.
Yeah, Frank avenged the guy who killed you. Nice. Yeah, you playing it today, there's none of this Twitch interaction happening because no one's streaming it. There's no audience voting on these things, but it makes very little difference to the game. It's just like an extra feature that they obviously spent time on. I imagine like the developers and publishers see that, like, this game was supposed to be like a Twitch interactions and stuff. It was a big selling point on like a PowerPoint presentation on why this game was going to work. And now it's essentially useless. It's a feature that cannot work with low viewership. I had talked about me watching this game being streamed before, and I was watching a couple like pretty big streamers stream it back in like 2020, and it was fun to watch. It was. I was watching like this top tier guy who I don't even remember his name of playing it. He was just going ham with a katana, which I haven't even seen in this game. Maybe they took it out, or maybe it's just a mode that goes in. I don't recall, but it was exciting watching like there's when you're playing in team mode, there's buybacks, kind of a unique system we'll take a look at. The team play to kind of be in the right zone for positioning.
I got somebody else.
Nice. To gear up for the final battles to try and win the crown, you know.
Hunter got me.
I'm killing everybody.
I got
and actually, this is gonna be a little bit better when you guys team up.
I played 7th.
Yeah, so it's a small thing, but like I was saying, the name Hyperscape, it's not good. It's not memorable. I've mispronounced it several times. It's an anagram for a more common word. Let's talk about the launch a little bit. I told you how they did it. They just sort of dropped the game with very little preamble. They had given some like streamers some heads up about like maybe they had paid them some amount of money to be playing it this time. Usually, you know, for sponsored stuff, streamers do get paid for that. So, but there were, you know, several, I think 100 streamers with a heads up. They were just scheduled to play it all of a sudden, and then everyone's free to download it at the same time, or from watching the game, you'd get a Twitch drop to get a beta code essentially. Yeah, it very quickly climbed the Twitch stream charts because of that. The launch was fairly successful with some huge streamers playing the game to audience of within half an hour there was 50,000 people watching it, and yeah, that was just on PC the way they launched it though. I'm someone who keeps up with kind of like Twitch, YouTube gaming happenings, but I understand that's kind of a bubble. That it had some success there in those spaces, I don't know that was enough for the game to be successful. You know, like that you would have had to be on Twitch and talk to someone who was playing it on Twitch to even know about the game, you know?
I mean, I think it speaks to the fact that none of us have ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a daring thing to just kind of drop it and hope for the best. I don't really know how
you save some money, I guess, right?
I guess, but do you save enough to warrant, you know, possibly your game failing completely?
Yeah. So Frank is in a team round match right now, and we only got to see a second of it because this whole team was eliminated. But when you die in a team mode, you go into what they call echo mode. You die in real life, but you go into an echo mode, so you are in echo mode running around as a spectator, but you're still on the team, and you can actually ping things for your teammates. You can run around like, oh, here's a crate, ping the crate for them, ping some enemies, watch their flanks for them, and you're still getting that information back from your dead teammate. And there is a way to bring them back, but the way to do it is there aren't respawn stations as in Apex or a buyback station as in Warzone. You have to find a corpse, find someone else's body, and use that as a respawn station. It's a little unique way of still being involved, you know? It's not like you have to do a gulag or anything. It's not just spectating your teammate. You have free ability to move around, ping things, even hunt out, you know, someone's body that you can do a respawn on. So pretty unique system they've integrated there. So the community for this game, there is, I suppose, as with any game, a fan base, and there still are some people who love this game. They have their own subreddit for the time being, and we're very enthusiastic about it. They were upset that I pulled some memes from them here from their group. They were upset in September of 2020 that there were 100,000 people playing Among Us versus the 1,000 playing Hyperscape. And they're also very open to admitting the problems with the game. You know, here's a Pikachu meme, surprised Pikachu meme that says how new players join the game and they complain that they're getting stomped every game. And then people who love the game saying, well, why don't you play another game like Fortnite? And then the new players go and play that game. People who love Hyperscape are surprised. Yeah, so that's part of a kind of ongoing thing with this game, that like it has kind of a tough level of entry, and something that the developers acknowledged was that it has a high floor to gameplay. Tutorial, which Frank skipped, Hunter played through it, and I think Fredo did too, but it gives you the very basics of like, this is how you pick up a gun. But there's some quirks about movement in this game, and it purposely had a high ceiling, like it's an arena shooter, you know, that you can get very, very good at this game, very, very sweaty with the flick aiming, and a lot of the guns are hit scan, but people were finding that you would get into a match and die immediately and not feel very encouraged to keep going in if you were playing against people that were just, PC gamers who were used to Quake style games. Yeah, they were finding that it had a too high of a floor was part of the problem and why people were dropping out of this game. It's kind of interesting looking at the subreddit. It's like being an archaeologist of a dead culture, but this all happened within the last year and a half, and now this game is pretty much over, and I'm unable to stream it and play at the same time.
One thing about the characters, there's one guy that it says "get good." I hate that guy.
Yeah. Oh my god, the first guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Put my mouse over him. Get good. All right, moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Yeah, toxic.
Okay,
Toxic
ready?
AF. So yeah, as I was saying, the character design is crappy. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's interesting that, so if they're going after a Ready Player One thing, that actually seems like it would fit really well with what Fortnite has become, right? Like there are different characters from all these different universes, but that's not what they have here. They have these essentially nameless characters that are very generic, don't have any personalities, and part of that is because it's going after these characters don't have specific abilities. It's not a hero battle kind of game. It's not Overwatch where this character has a giant hammer and they slam it on the ground. Every character is essentially the same. It's just the abilities you're picking up. So yeah, these characters aren't shaped by their abilities, are blank slates when you join the game. So still, it feels like they could have given them like very unique voice lines, personalities. I don't know what happened, what went wrong there. They just decided that
we're all about gameplay.
Yeah, maybe it was supposed to be like customizable. Maybe it was supposed to be customizable with like more unlockables as you go, and that's what's going to make your character unique. But yeah, no, it's just like, here are like 8 characters that you can choose from. They're all very boring, and it's just about the gameplay. So team deathmatch is what it sounds like. It's you've got tickers about how many kills each team has to get before the game ends. You got to get up to 50. You're going to respawn immediately afterwards. So it's simply about the gameplay. Let's talk about the developer quickly, though. This was made by French video game company Ubisoft, or if you're an American, Ubisoft. I think that sounds more like you're accusing someone of not being tough enough, so I'll go with the European way, Ubisoft. It is one of the largest game developers around. That's not some sort of giant conglomeration. They were almost bought by, was it Vivendi a while back? But they're just kind of standalone, if you call it that. They have like dozens of studios, so I don't know how standalone they are. They are very large. But they have been around since 1986 in one way or another, and they own the IPs of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, For Honor, Just Dance, Prince of Persia, Rayman, and all of the Tom Clancy games and Watch Dogs. And of course, they are the ones who made the Rabbids games, which nobody knows exactly what a rabbit is. I think it's like a French minion, I think.
I'm in with you, Fredo.
And as of recently, Ubisoft wants to sell you NFTs in games, and they're sticking to it. So
how nice of them!
So nice of them to do that. They use the Ubisoft Connect software, formerly known as Uplay. It's their distribution and DRM software, which is preventing me from streaming the game, probably, which is just wild to me. They've developed quite a few game engines, including Dunia for Far Cry, Snowdrop, which was used in The Division, and South Park: The Fractured Butthole, and Mario plus Rabbids. Hyperscape uses a modified version of their Anvil engine, which is Anvil Next 2.0. This is actually the same engine that Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins uses. I was looking at the developers. Normally I talk about like actors, voice actors and stuff. There are no known voice actors or something. This game, like we said, could use more personality, but some developers that worked on this game, many people who worked on Prince of Persia, the more recent reboot, and Tom Clancy's Hawks. I don't know, maybe this game could have benefited from putting Tom Clancy in front of it. Maybe more people would have heard of it. Tom Clancy's Hyperscape.
Let's just put his name in front of stuff. Tom Clancy's Magical Mystery Mall. Tom Clancy's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Tom Clancy's Rabbids.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right, so that we have a good breakdown of the timeline, here's a brief history of Hyperscape. July 2nd, 2020, the game had a surprise launch after a cryptic tweet, and at midday, Twitch and YouTube personalities were permitted to start streaming the game, and in 30 minutes, it had 500,000 viewers. You could get beta access by watching people streaming it and getting a Twitch Twitch drop for access. 10 days later, July 12th, the open beta is now officially live and open, and anyone can jump in. And at the end of July, they have a Twitch Rivals tournament in different regions that, by all accounts, pulled in decent viewership. And meantime, they roll out a couple of patches with some pretty big changes, a new weapon, new hacks, weapon adjustment, and game modes. All during this time, it is for PC only for the entire month of July 2020. Then in August 11th is the official launch of the game, which for PC players doesn't mean a whole lot. It was free before and it continues to be free, but it's the start of Season 1, and the game launches for free as well on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It has a Battle Pass system. There are 100 rewards for the season, all cosmetic, emotes, that kind of thing. The season has its lore-based video intro and universe lore you can unlock by finding things in the game they call memory shards. By August 13th, 2 days after launch, GameSpot was publishing an article titled "Twitch-Centric Battle Royale Hyperscape is Struggling to Find an Audience on Twitch." They say at the time of writing it has 6,200 viewers. Compare that to Fall Guys, a game show kind of battle royale, which has 184,000 viewers and 500,000 followers of the game. And all their direct competition, Apex, PUBG, Warzone, all have hundreds of thousands of viewers watching those games daily. So they say that Ubisoft managed to turn Rainbow Six Siege around by constant tweaking, so maybe they can find their way to success with this game as well. At the end of August, they had rolled out another patch with some gun adjustments, including trying to make controller use more comfortable, as many people were complaining about the difficulty. They continued to roll out content weekly with new lower memory shards unlocking, and they were doing timed events as well. By mid-September, they were rolling out some gimmicks like Double XP Weekend. And at the end of September, they put out a blog looking back on the last 3 months. They identified a lot of issues that they listed out and stated they need to work on, including combat comfort, acknowledging that it has a high skill ceiling, but also a high skill floor requirement, which is alienating people. There were issues with onboarding so that players could succeed without feeling discouraged. They said their game modes, like their timed events, were splitting their player base too much. And also they needed to add respawn opportunities for players when playing the Battle Royale, which is actually where Second Chance was introduced. There's not enough player goals to keep people engaged. And finally, crossplay. At this point, they didn't have it yet, and we're looking forward to adding it. The subtext there was they were trying to address the lobby sizes. They also said that they were restructuring their dev team to make this happen. So it seems like they're very committed to the game still at this point. So their 3-month season ends, and season 2 starts on October 6th, 2020, and again has 100 reward opportunities. It kind of trudges along for a couple months. In December 2020, they have begun giving new players a $10 coupon to the Ubisoft store just for downloading and playing the game. And at this point, internally at Ubisoft, they apparently were calling the game a failure. At the same time, they launch a new patch finally adding crossplay, and they start running a winter event. They continue to tweak the game modes and adjust the guns. That season runs 6 months until March 11th, 2021 for season 3. You might notice we're still in season 3. Again, it was well supported with 100 cosmetics. This season actually expands the map and revamps quite a bit. They added some new quality of life improvements and even added a new hack. The lobby size was maxed out at 60 here, and at this point it seems the interest of the game really was quite limited. It had a small patch in April for tweaks. Then the next news that I found, I did like a Google search based on date requirements, and the next news that really showed up was the fact that it wasn't in the news. In June of 2021 at Ubisoft's famously long E3 presentation, they cover basically every IP they have, and they just left Hyperscape completely off the docket. They didn't even mention it. Pretty wild for a game that had launched less than a year prior. Then finally on January 27th, 2022, they put out the news regarding the future, that there is no future. Servers are shutting down on April 28th, 2022. So as far as the success about this game, battle royales and player bases are an interesting thing, that they demand a certain amount of popularity. Otherwise, they're just dead, right? And a certain amount of popularity is pretty high. Like, you'd want this game to have, I think they had lobbies of 99 people. For some reason, I don't think it was ever 100. But as it stands right now, you'd be wasting, like, if you waited for 100 people, I don't know that it would actually ever fill. You would be waiting a very long time for them to fill up. And so you got to balance that. And they started lowering the lobby sizes down to 40, and now they're launching with like 12 people for a battle royale. It's not sustainable. It's not a good experience. So as far as their decision to take servers offline, my initial reaction when I heard that was like, you should never shut down a game. You invested all this time into it. But after seeing the state of it, like the player base, like, yeah, no, okay, yeah, you can pull it. Maybe reuse the assets somewhere else, I guess. I don't know. And just a month before Ubisoft announced Hyperscape was shutting down, the YouTube channel Nerd Slayer Studios, they have a series called Death of a Game. They actually put out a post-mortem. What they do in the series is they put out a post-mortem on games and try to determine what killed it. They did a video on Hyperscape a month ago, so a few weeks before they announced they were officially shutting it down. They did a nice job summing up the game and pointing out some things that they believe killed it. Something we haven't touched on was aim assist. So when they finally combined the games with crossplay, at first the aim assist was not enough. It was difficult for players on console to compete with PC.
Maybe they should stop playing it on console.
they were having trouble tracking people as they were flying through the air, and like I was saying, part of it was because of the verticality of it is kind of a unique thing. Like what arena shooter has there been on console? They're never console first. Like Quake style games are always about, for a reason, it's just easier to compete with a mouse. And then they really overdid it to the point of where consoles were like automatically tracking, and you just had to be in the general vicinity of someone aiming with a gun and you would be hitting their bodies. And I think it's still there, because as I was playing games, I felt like I don't think I'm hitting these people. My shot's not that good, but they were somewhere in my crosshair and I was hitting their bodies. I'm saying that as I'm watching Frank. I'm sorry, Frank. I was
going to say,
trying to call you
that's
out.
True, Chris.
Also, when they launched, there was absolutely no skill-based matchmaking. Right now, there is skill-based ranked mode in team still, but in solo, there is no skill-based matchmaking. You're just in there with everyone, which means that very likely you're being stopped with the very sweatiest of players. Not that it matters much now with 12 people, but yeah, whatever. Another thing that they pointed to was this was a PC shooter first being sold to console users. It's just not a game that feels good on console. And is there still playing on controller, Fredo?
Yeah. No, I mean, it feels fine. I mean, there's no complaint about the game controller. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. They fixed it. They fixed the auto aim or the aim assist. But maybe at the time of launch, though, it turned so many players off that they kind of missed their chance. Another thing that they pointed to was Battle Royale time in the sun might be over, or at least that it was very oversaturated. And one final point that they had was that arena shooters aren't that popular to begin with. It's kind of launching on jump pads, arcing through the sky. It was popular with Quake, in its time, but it's kind of been dwindling popularity since their inception. I can't think of one that's been very popular in a while. So yeah, that was kind of their conclusion. All right, guys. Well, let's talk some impressions since you guys are finishing up your matches. You're probably bored of it by now. So how's Team Deathmatch looking?
I mean, yeah, nothing to say. I mean, and the other team was so good. Yeah, we were just didn't have any opportunity. So yeah.
Sometimes that happens in Team Deathmatch. Yeah, that just gets stacked against you. It's weird to even this wasn't supposed to be a team deathmatch to begin with, It works technically, but it's not good.
Jesus.
How as far as the battle royale, what kind of impressions you guys get?
I mean, it has typical battle royale feeling. You go in there, you get shit on for a while, and then you kill one person and you feel very good.
Yeah, you feel good. Like this was the arena and I got a kill. Yeah.
I did something, and it gives you that. It's got the typical satisfaction that comes with that, but everything else in the game just kind of feels off. I don't like the gunplay. The fusing system is a little just kind of whatever. Are you going around actually looking for stuff to fuse to get better? It just doesn't feel like you're in the game long enough to be worried about that.
Right. I think part of that may be the size, right? You were saying about the satisfaction of getting a kill. It's well, when I'm playing Warzone and it announces that final 10, I'm I'm in it now. But when the lobby starts with 12 people, that has a little less meaning to it.
Are you wanting to grade this game on the game itself or the fact that only 10 people are playing it? I'm kind of trying
we can speak to both of them.
To put aside the minimal amount of people, because obviously when I played the first round or two and I don't think I got a single kill, and then I got one kill, and then I got a couple more. But when you play one of these and there's 100 people in there,
I think it's obviously going to be more fun with more people. Yeah, but
especially if you're seeing 50 people jumping through the air. That's the other thing. Like,
right.
And I can't even see them half the time because they go like really high.
And so unfortunately, that is kind of the experience for a lot of people had with this game, I guess, because like aside from when the big push of when some streamers were playing it, just most people were having trouble getting into lobbies and they were immediately lowering the size of the battle royale. So unfortunately, that's how most people experienced it, is with less people. I guess that just speaks to the difficulty of a BR. Either it has to be really popular or it's gonna fail. It loses the edge of the whole genre, you know?
Yeah. No, and once you drop below that point, like whether people are playing your game is aside from like gameplay and you know, whether it's just a good game or not, is especially with these kinds of games, is are other people playing it? Like,
there's no game here without other people.
You know, in 20 years, I can play The Witcher 3 and be like, oh yeah, like nobody's playing this right now, but I'm going to enjoy this. You're not going to enjoy it. Obviously, this game's going to be gone in 3 months, but you know, if nobody's playing this game, you're not going to play it either. So getting the initial player base is got to be a lot harder, right, than maybe like a game that doesn't require thousands or 100 other people to be fun.
For sure.
But then we're just commenting on that type of game in general and not necessarily
this one in particular. Yeah. I mean, it's tough because I want to say how this game could have been, but I think there's some failures that it has. Why that's part of why it didn't succeed and why there's not a big player base too. So, all right, let's talk about the critic reviews, how this game was received. If you guys want to take a stab at, I have 0 scores up on the board. Let me think. Hunter, how many kills have you gotten? You think?
Humble answer. Probably like
an honest answer.
8.
Frank, how you think you're doing?
I have 5 right now. I think I got maybe 2 the last game. I'm not sure about the game before.
Fredo, you were killing it in the battle royale. You got a couple kills, right?
Yeah, but I think in total I had like 5. Yeah, just to be honest.
All right. Well, if you guys want to take a guess, what do you think the critics gave this game on Metacritic right now? What score does it hold? That is 0 to 100.
20.
Frank, what do you think? Okay, 20 from Fredo.
I'm going to say when it first came out, they had more promise, so they gave it a higher score, but not that high. I'm going to say 70.
70. And Hunter, what do you think?
I think the critics would have given it a higher score. Honestly, like I see potential in this game, so I'll say that they gave it like a 75.
75. I don't know how he does it. I think he cheats, but Frank is on the money again. It was actually a 68, so Frank gets the closest. I'll put one more on top there for you.
Can I cleanse my computer?
Yeah. You can start uninstalling Uplay or whatever it's called.
Honestly, the Ubisoft thing, that's a ruin.
That was a barrier. Yeah. That was a barrier.
Yep.
I was shocked how hard it was to get this game installed, and apparently I can't even stream it, so I don't know what to do with that information. Hunter, what review you have there?
GameSpot says 60. Randomness is key to Battle Royale games. But Hyperscape leans a little too much into it. The game has solid weapons and hero-like hack abilities, but you're at the mercy of being lucky enough to get what you need to have a higher chance of winning. The battleground doesn't help in this regard since it's difficult to know where you're going and make a plan about where to loot next without stopping to open the map. At least the individual moments in Hyperscape are fun. A match could be ruined by the randomness working against you, but that doesn't stop moments like turning into a ball and trying to outbounce 3 enemy balls any less fun in how ridiculously silly it is. I want to say that I think they kind of missed the point with how they were doing their review.
Battle royales.
Yeah,
like I mean that is a battle royale. The randomness of finding loot
is that way.
Yeah, It sounds like they're frustrated they don't know the map. But,
but it's gonna have
that's odd.
Random. Like even if you know where you're going, what you pick up, what spawns at each location is random, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think if you don't like that, then what are you gonna do? That's what the game is.
Yeah. Fredo, what do you got?
Okay, Destructoid gave it a 60 and said, "We've seen Ubisoft snatch victory from the jaws of somewhat underwhelming before. Maybe they can do it again." Yeah, no.
Spoiler, they did not.
Yeah, they didn't.
Oh, shit.
And Frank, what do you have there?
Game Informer says 73. Hyper Scape is inoffensive and might be the right battle royale choice for you, depending on your stream engagement. However, it doesn't push hard enough on any one of its differentiators, and it ends up struggling to find a sense of itself in a genre with oodles of established choices. Toes dipped into shallow water may pay off for a deep water swim in the future, but Hyperscape holds itself back from really trying to shake things up.
Yeah.
I feel like that's spot on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of mediocre throughout. All right, and user scores. Fredo, what you got there?
Okay, so this is from G-Week. He gave it a 1 first of all.
Mhm.
And he says, game with a huge implementation of Twitch. Twitch viewers can actually ruin your game if you are so unfortunate to play with some streamers. Wow, this is bad.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, if you're running something that demands infinite ammo, like they can vote on the ammo event and just give you infinite ammo. So, yeah.
Oh, so did streamers have like their followers like giving them advantage and stuff? I didn't even think about that.
Jesus.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, they were voting on stuff as the game was going on, and you could. It seems like a good idea until you realize how it works practically. That they're altering the game, and that takes some competitiveness out of it.
Jesus.
And Frank.
WV Lab says 0. The worst battle royale for now. No players, no gun balance, no good graphics, no game design. Absolutely 0. It was fun until the release when there were players. Okay, I don't understand that part.
Yeah, that didn't make sense, but yeah.
Honestly, the graphics not that bad.
No,
you know?
they really
It's
aren't.
okay.
Complain about the graphics, yeah.
It's not game changing. It's not life changing. You know what I mean? But it wasn't the worst. But it just, I don't know. And now also, isn't that how the Guns in Apex Legend happen? The materializing come to you, or am I thinking of Tracer from
That's how
Overwatch?
Tracer's gun appears in Overwatch. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was thinking about like what did this, and it's Tracer's gun. She sort of like spins them out.
It has a very, I mean, you've said it a bunch of times, but like the Ready Player One vibe kind of works for this, but there's just nothing of like actual MMO or, that kind of thing implemented. It just was a pretty run-of-the-mill battle royale.
If they had the backing of like the character base that Fortnite does, like, this would be successful. But instead, you had a bunch of annoyingly voiced no-name characters that you couldn't really customize. So, yeah, I mean, that it doesn't play into the Ready Player One vibe at all in that sense. Yeah, otherwise for gameplay, do you guys enjoy this kind of game? Do you think that it handled it okay? Everyone at once.
Not good, man. Not good. I didn't like it.
It feels very standard. It doesn't offer
just nothing to make
anything.
it stand out.
Yeah, you've got sniper rifles, you've got demolitions, you've got regular guns.
Yeah, the gun variety is pretty limited too. I think there were 12 guns, and I would have loved to see something a little more unique. They have a couple. They have like a thing that launches a projectile like sticky thing, but there's that, and there's like the grenade launcher thing. They have a thing called a Sky Ender or something that's like supposed to be like this huge electric ball that looks like it's gonna do so much damage, but it's no more effective to use that than like a automatic fire gun. Yeah, there's not enough variety or interesting things going on with these guns.
Not interesting with the guns. Not really interesting with the hacks. They're pretty, heal yourself, damage, speed, whatever.
As far as the healing yourself goes, I mean, sure, Warzone, Call of Duty, you do like recover your health over time. You have plates that'll, give you more endurance. But this game, your entire health bar is just something that can recover in a Halo kind of sense. Yeah. Something that most people complained about with this was the time to kill was so long. Like you'd have these little engagements where you would be fighting each other for, 15-20 seconds, and by that time another player has moved in and will likely third party you. There are no one-shot guns in this game. It's going to be a few shots from anything.
Yeah, and I'd say like going back to just visuals, if you're not going to have interesting characters, you're not going to have wholly interesting guns, you don't particularly have an interesting map. It seems to be like a reskinned city, and if the whole map is like that, we just kind of keep popping into the same areas. But if it's just like a giant city. It's not going to be something that you memorize or be like, oh, I'm going to be in this part or I'm going to be in that part. You're like, I'm in a city, versus like, you know, your big maps where they have like a lava zone and a water zone or whatever. I think Apex has that, but Apex also
is great
has
with that,
like
yeah.
interesting characters. Like when you run up against somebody, you're like, oh, they're playing this character, now I know what I can expect.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, or there's always something like unique and interesting about them, and this one just seems to be like jack of all trades, master of none. It doesn't do anything with particular depth. It's just kind of surface level on all of it.
Yeah, and if you were to ask, like, okay, what sets this game apart? It's like, oh, what's the Twitch integration? It's like, well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that was if you could actually, like, come in here and change the advantages of the game by just having all of your followers vote one way, then yeah, it completely ends that aspect of the game.
Yeah, and they had a feature as well where like it was in a one-click button when you're in streamer mode, that you would send the invite to everyone in your Twitch to join, which feels like it has a misunderstanding of like how practical that would be. It's like if someone's watching you, sure, they could decide to like, okay, I'm going to play a game now, but are they going to be watching you and play at the same time? Are they in there to stream snipe you? Like, what is the purpose of that, you know?
Yeah, not working.
Probably just to get more players. Like they're like Twitch integration, yeah, sure, but we want these people playing the game as well. And I think maybe that's just what it does. It makes it easier for you to be like, oh wait, everything in this game is just it. They didn't think it through. They didn't finish the thought on anything. They were like, it seems like, you know, with these kind of games, their plan was like to continue working on it. So maybe they would have like eventually upgraded and gotten new characters, because every character has a name, but they all have a last name that's the exact same, Link or whatever. I don't understand that.
I saw that too.
Is that supposed to be like, oh, their name is
like
their
the avatar?
name and then their file name, like, oh, it's Buzz Link or whatever. So it just seems like, and then they were like, yeah, we can work on that later once people are playing the game. And then they're like, okay, now let's make the map. Same story. We have everything we need. We can work on the rest later. And Twitch integration, marketing, visuals, gunplay, everything just fell to the wayside to get the game out. And then it didn't have anything to set it apart.
They don't have a player base anymore, and they've kind of lost any goodwill that they had. So yeah, they realize now it's unsalvageable, which I think you're right. They thought there was going to be a continuing project, and that worked well for like Fortnite adding so many different features as it went along. But I mean, that was when it was one of the only players in the game, and now people aren't going to stick around to play this mediocre game when there's so many choices, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like Ubisoft has a record of doing that, because you just look at of just ruining games over time. You look at like the Assassin's Creed franchise, and the most recent games are just packed to the brim with repeatable random quests and zone encounters, and you have to take over this zone and you can decide what side of the war wins, but it's just like an endless array of, you know, just do the same quest over and over but in a different zone with a different name. I don't know where I got on that subject. I hate what they did to Assassin's Creed. I really hate what they did to Assassin's Creed.
It's true. So no, it actually happened to me. I bought a game recently, I would say like 2 months ago. It was Phoenix Rising. So it looked like it looked like a Breath of the Wild clone, and actually I played the demo and I really liked it. But when I bought it and I fell for it, it was the same quest, it was the same enemies with different color palettes, and it was like I didn't want to finish because I got bored.
Very grindy.
Yeah. So I think now is a Ubisoft trademark to do crappy games that you have to grind to do nothing. So I feel this game is generic, and they didn't finish their ideas, and it feels that character with the get good, it just feels it feels horrible just to hover that character, and the gameplay, the weapons feels generic.
Ubisoft likes to be able to tell you, like, oh yeah, you can get 1,000 hours out of this game easy, you're going to be doing the same thing for
But 1,000 hours,
990 of those 1,000 hours. But like, being able to say we have an entire map of the world and you can conquer each individual city state, and you're like, yeah, that sounds fucking awesome, by doing the same. You as an OP assassin, not even like, quietly running around and stabbing people in the neck, but just like, here's my halberd and my shield and I'm just gonna mow through enemies. And you're like, what, how is this an Assassin's Creed game? It's like, it's just like they upgrade games and just put what like every person says they want, or anything that will like increase the playability. Like, I remember distinctly it kind of starting in my favorite Assassin's Creed game, Black Flag, because they had that like add-on app that you could sit there and send all of your boats out, and I was just like, oh, so this is like a little bit of that. You can get like 1,000,000 hours out of it if you want.
Click and wait game.
Yeah. And I played it a little bit and I enjoyed it while I was playing it, but yeah, beyond that, Ubisoft, you suck.
Yes.
Yeah, I in one of the reviews that I was reading, they were talking about the lack of personality in this game, and I mean, they were saying that they felt like most Ubisoft games do have a personality, be it Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed, but this one is just completely void of any attitude or any. I mean, the lore is there. We skipped over some of the videos, but it's not engaging, and when none of the characters, there's no characters in this game. I did find surprisingly a place that listed some backstory for each of the characters, but it's not explored anywhere.
Nothing's
it's not
fleshed
like
out.
You're hearing it in voice lines,
It makes no difference to the game.
All right, so let's get down to it. What about our scores? We could give it a score on a 0 to 10 scale, but we play a lot of bad games here, so games, they go past 0 on our scale. They get into the negatives, and a game with a negative score means that it's getting so bad you're enjoying it again. So what do you guys think about this game? 10 is a perfect game. 0 is the garbage can valley, no enjoyment there, and a negative 10 is so bad it's good. Frank, what do you think?
God, yawned.
Was that your response? That was your response. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I recorded me missing so many times and playing that on stream. That's embarrassing. Okay.
Maybe with 100 people, this could have been fun, and we'll never know that joy, or that hell, or that absolute hell.
Why didn't we know? That's a thing worth considering, though.
Yeah.
We didn't know because it was only ever on Twitch, and they didn't do a good job marketing it, right?
Yeah. So
I wonder what Twitch thought about it.
People are like, I mean, there's some articles about like GameSpot when it launched, and there was a lot of excitement about it when it first came out.
I'm gonna say, technically, where it's not that great, it's not that fun, not necessarily it's not like broken, it's just not good. 3, positive 3.
3. Wow. All right, Fredo, what do you think?
Like I said, graphically, I mean, the graphics looks good. I mean, and it's a trademark of Ubisoft that everything looks good, but the gameplay not good at all. So yeah, I didn't have fun with it. I didn't have fun installing the game and having all those different things to just play the game. So we couldn't make a team deathmatch as we supposed to.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And you crash. I mean, you crash and you try with the OBS. So just the main thing that made this game different, you couldn't even do it. So yeah, that sucks. So for me, it's gonna be 2 because it freaking sucks.
All right, a 2 from Fredo. Hunter, what do you think?
I'm gonna base my score entirely on the mathematics behind my kill death ratio and the amount of matches I played. I'm going to say I got 8 kills across 4 matches. Divided by 4 is 2. So I'm going to give it a 2.
The math checks out. All right.
Much more interesting in my head.
It's scientific. You got there scientifically, and I respect that.
Yeah, graphics are good. Everything else is subpar. I felt a tinge of enjoyment. I felt good each time I got a kill, but I had to play the game. 4 times. That sounds much
that's a
better.
bummer.
Yeah. So 2.
Gotcha, too. All right. Yeah, like I was saying, for me, it's shocking to me how little personality this game has. Avatars have 0 personality. Like, I wish if they were going after the Ready Player One thing, like they seem like they should have, then they needed to launch with some characters, I think. You launched this with some other IPs. And I think that would have been an easy sell, too, before Fortnite had all these other characters. You go to some company and some movie company and be like, we want to put your characters in this game. We're going to be as big as Fortnite, you know? And I feel like they could have started off on a better foot.
If it had Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it.
They just got The Rock on board, you know?
Yeah.
His character from A Spy Hunter, you know, the movie that should have been.
I was going to go with
They waited
Tooth
too long,
Fairy,
and now he's in
but
Fortnite.
Like the movement in this game, I think it's okay. It feels like an arena shooter. I think Apex is better. Apex has inertia, like you move around and you feel like you have some weight to you. This one, like you're just kind of moving around midair.
It's very quick.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like you're in a virtual game in this world, and they let you have some fun with it. Like you generate the gun in front of you. I think the music is good. It like it gets you hyped up as you're going in. But as it is, like the loading of the lobby, that's broken. It can't work anymore, and I think they just botched the launch so poorly that they didn't have a good enough game when they launched. They probably wanted to do like a sudden drop thing that succeeded with Apex and Valorant did, right? So, but they should have.
But there's just so many of them now, too.
Yeah, it's a crowded market too.
You know.
Yeah, like had this come out shortly after PUBG, I think this would have taken the reins. It would have been huge. But being that Apex was already out, Warzone was out, and like Fortnite wasn't going anywhere, there wasn't any room for this game to have the time to find its feet. So this was I don't know if you guys remember August of 2020, but Fall Guys had launched at the beginning of that month as well. And also like this was peak Among Us time. So if you were trying to like make an impression on Twitch during this month, it was the worst possible month to launch. So I think a few months earlier, it could have done okay, but I don't know. I think it was always doomed launching in the state that it was. So anyway,
do you think they saw that? Like they looked at it and said, shit, like, all right, scrap the idea about, you know, any kind of interesting characters, scrap all those cool weapon ideas we have, scrap the hacking, go with what we got.
Yeah,
we got to put it out.
I mean, people were at home more during the pandemic. That's what made Among Us successful, right? And Fall Guys, it was the quarantine crazies that made that game so good, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe they wanted to get something out. Like they had this semi-finished product and people were starting to work from home, like just launch it. So maybe that screwed it up too. I don't know. I feel like it had glimpses of potential, but it needed a lot more work before they launched. So yeah, I'd go with a 4 for me. There we have it. Those are our scores, and a big thing in this game is the crown at the end. That was supposed to separate this game. You know, that's what you get in the end.
None of us ever saw.
That you didn't get to see. So as I was thinking about the prize this evening, and now again for the 3rd week in a row, I do not have the prize printed out because of ongoing renovations that will never end. But someone will win it. The prize this evening, it's the same reward that you get in a battle royale. In PUBG, it's a chicken dinner. In Hyperscape, it's technically a crown. But printing out the crown from Hyperscape that we're looking at here,
you wanted to say space right there. I could tell.
I did. I lingered on it every time.
I heard Hyperscape.
Since in the month of August 2020, I don't think they were the winners of the Battle Royale. I think Fall Guys was. So in Fall Guys, you do leave with a crown as well. And I saw there was a printable crown I could get from Fall Guys. But I think more importantly, you leave with your life. So the prize this evening is a Fall Guy. So I have him here on stream, a very cute 3D printable Fall Guy.
Nice.
So the winner this evening with the most points, was he being honest and humble about how many he actually killed? I don't know, but he wins the battle royale this evening. Congratulations! I'm looking at a bean man. I was thinking of beans and weenies, I guess. Congratulations, Frank! You will win your own Fall Guy in memory of Hyperscape. Does that make sense? Yeah, maybe, because Fall Guys beat Hyperscape. So.
All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyright Fair Use exemption for criticism and commentary. Garbage Game Night makes no claims to ownership over any games played and has no affiliation with any developer or publishing company. For additional references on cited articles and quotes, check our episode-related blog at garbagegamenight.com. Or if you have a comment about the game we reviewed or have a suggestion, drop us a line.